All right, it's official. We're live. Manic Vandals podcast numero dos. My Spanish is correct. Probably not. With my partners in crime, Keith, and
Hey,
my other partner in crime, Mike.
Hi.
Uh,
This feels like the scene in Wayne's World, and with him, as always, is Mike.
party on, Wayne.
Hey, I love it. I'm excited.
Um, so I guess just to start, Mike, you can have your official introduction since me and Keith did ours last time. So,
Yeah,
floor is yours.
thanks. Yeah, I guess as far as Magic goes, um, I think Dave and we were introduced to the game at a very young age, probably like second and first grade, because our older brother Josh had a bunch of cards. So I think we always had that sort of connection with the game, and we sort of danced our way in and out of it over the years. We've definitely collected many physical cards, but of course with Arena and a lot of the sort of convenience and ease of access that has sort of granted a lot of people, I feel like him and I have gotten into it more. Um, so I started playing about on Arena. I think I started playing maybe 2 years ago. Maybe it's three, whatever it is. I started taking it a little more seriously once M20 was out, and I do a lot of limited. I really enjoy limited as a format. I really like the idea of sort of mastering like an infinite number of combinations, whether it's in a draft or it's in the game, like per format.
Hmm,
So I've always really enjoyed like sort of cracking the code, so to speak.
right.
Um, so um, I know it doesn't mean all that much, but when I would take a month very seriously, I tend to get mythic. So I've been mythic, again, I know it doesn't mean much, but I think I've been mythic like 6 or 7 times.
That's
Uh,
awesome.
Thanks. I didn't play from I played the very beginning of M21. That was sort of when the lockdown ended, so I had to start like working again. But I didn't really play until this format, Innistrad Midnight Hunt. And actually this month or this format, I got mythic on 2 different accounts. So I definitely I enjoy the game overall, but I actually really like this format as well, as far as limited goes.
Right.
Um, so yeah, we qualified for that historic Mythic Qualifier tournament, and I believe that will be part of the conversation tonight. So I'm looking forward to that as well.
Uh,
Yeah.
yeah, yes, it will. And I would just like to say for all of our two listeners out there, Mike he's being very humble and modest.
Yeah, I agree.
He's pretty fucking good at draft. I mean, I can't personally imagine even being like half as good as he is. I mean, I like I don't know. Just it's just too much. Can't do it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's amazing. You could give classes on how to draft, you know?
Thank you. I really appreciate that, both of you. I think it's one of the. I think it's like all relative, if I'm being really honest. Where like, yes, I do feel like I have a command of the game relative to a beginner, but I don't feel confident when I'm speaking with somebody who I know is either comparative level or above me.
Yeah.
I will say though, this is the format where I feel like I learned more, both about like how to actually play, but also like sort of trusting my judgment in the actual drafting process as well. Where I like kind of like how Dave just mentioned, there is sort of like an overwhelming feeling that you can have when you're doing drafts. I don't
Oh,
know if
yeah.
it's because it costs money or if it's because you just know how much you don't know. so it can get overwhelming, and I totally get that. So I think a lot of it is sort of just like over time, sort of trusting what certain types of cards do, knowing what types of effects are like above rate or below rate. Just things like that where it's a lot of like anecdotal knowledge that you sort of gain over time, so you can sort of trust basic thoughts. Because
Right.
that's the thing. It's like you can look at a card and have no idea if it's good or terrible in a format.
Right.
Um, so yeah, and I think because I played this format, a fair amount, probably more than any other individual format. I feel like I got much better as a player, in particular, because I know for me, um, I tend to be the player in a match where I'm always out of cards by like turn 5, and then the other player has like 5 cards in their hand, because I'm not quite as good as I'm not quite as good at like leveraging the board state and knowing like when the time is right for certain things. And I think as far as the games go, I've gotten much better this format, which I think is very important. Um, because drafting, you can sort of look, even if you don't trust your judgment very well, whether it's the beginning or the end of a format, there is a lot of resources on the internet, and that's one of the reasons that sort of give me that sort of comfort in drafting. But when it comes to games, I mean, there are more games won and lost playing than there are drafting, I think. So it all kind of intertwines. So yeah, so with all that being said, maybe I'm being a tiny bit modest, but also I do respect how difficult this game is.
Yeah, it's a hard game. And my experience on draft is this: I've done it a few times on Arena, and it turns out to, oh yeah, let's try to be competitive, and the next thing you know, I'm chasing rares. So, so
Right.
it's easy to get in that trap too. So
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. And that's another element to drafting where if you're not see like with it, in my case, because I kind of know I'm gonna draft a ton. I try to not rare draft unless of course it's like the pack is empty of cards I want and there's a rare still in there.
yeah,
Uh, so but yeah, I mean rare drafting is definitely a very viable thing you do if you play constructed generally. So yeah, it's there's a lot of things to take into account. So you know
it's amazing. It is amazing. So I guess we can go off of that and go right into Dave. I don't want to take the spotlight here, but I want to put you in a spotlight. So the tournament. Let's talk about that.
Um, all right. Well, I guess to start, so we went with rogues. Um, basically, uh, basically because it was basically a standard deck, and familiarity is pretty important. It's like we could have just net decked and picked the shiniest, prettiest cards.
Yeah.
Um, which I mean, who knows? We might have done better. Uh, because it turns out there is a boogeyman of historic in Jund
yeah.
food, um, which we'll get to in a second. But yeah, we went with rogues. Overall, I mean, it went much better than we thought it would. Um, I mean, I guess this was like our fourth Mythic Qualifier, our third. I feel like I did two, and Mike did one.
Yeah, I think so. It was something like that. I feel like I've done a few like last year. I've only gotten one win, if that, in any of these though ever, no matter what
Wow.
the
Right.
format was.
Yeah.
So
Um, yeah, I mean they're freaking hard. But this one was historic, which I think worked in our favor a bit. Because apparently rogues like fell very far out of favor.
Mm,
Um, namely because of Jund food, and like it's like if you mill Jund, you're basically doing them a favor.
right.
Uh, so So yeah, we went with rogues. We won 2 matches and then we lost 3. Um, we played against John. So the order of the games was we played John first. We just got like blown out. Like it wasn't even like it was just like ridiculous. We played against Gruul. That was I feel like that was the only game we had like a serious punt in.
Mm.
Um, it's kind of a long story, but like I attacked with everything, thinking we would like win the following turn. But then their crackback just like destroyed us. Uh, so I don't know if we would have won the match, but uh, it ended much earlier than it should have. Uh,
Yeah.
and then we played against Boros Burn, and we won that one pretty handily, and we were kind of surprised because I don't think we had any life gain, and like we didn't have any life gain, and we had like shock lands and those Zendikar Rising lands, so like we were just like fucking ourselves up. But yeah, we won that one pretty handily. Um, and then we played against Orzhov Auras.
Mm.
Um,
That was awesome.
yeah, that one was kind of weird because it felt like we were getting destroyed, and then we would just like win somehow. Um,
Yeah,
I
I feel like sorry to cut you off. Yeah, I
no, that's
felt like
fine.
in that one they had like the nut draw game one. That's what it felt like. Um, and then it kind of seemed like we knew how to play against it. Like we sort of learned on the fly, and then we sort of solved it. So yeah, that was good.
Yeah,
Yeah, I didn't see that match. I'll have to watch it.
yeah. I mean, it's just like buried in the middle somewhere.
Yeah.
But I think the key against them of all people, like of all the decks where you normally worry about it, but in this case you don't, is like how many cards they get. Because I mean, they would have like literally like the one game, the one match, he had like 15 cards or something. Like he had to like
My lord.
discard, like at the end of his turn he discarded like 8 cards or something.
Oh my
But
gosh.
uh yeah, so somehow we pulled that one out. Uh, and then we played against Jund again, and then it was just, you know, a disaster. Um, I think the main thing, and people might listen to this and be like, "Yeah, no shit," but we should have had graph diggers in the sideboard.
Mm.
Uh, I I I mean, I personally, and this is like very incorrect, but I took them out thinking they would hurt Luris, but uh, it's like hurting ourselves with Luris. I mean, you just have to. I mean, you have to do something against, uh, you know, the cat oven garbage.
Oh
Because
yeah.
if you don't, I mean, you just like sit there and watch them, like kill their cat and bring it back, and then like trigger like 50 different things with like trailer crumbs and whatever else. Um, so I feel like we probably would have lost those junk games anyway, but
Right.
it wouldn't have been as much of a complete blowout, I think.
Yeah, that would have been a good sideboard. Um,
Yeah.
I do think that that second Jund game, I felt like their deck was worse than the first one because it wasn't Mayhem Devil based for
Yeah.
whatever reason. Because that just sort of annihilated our board anytime we had anybody on it. The second one, I don't even know if they had Mayhem Devils in it, and so I feel like if we, the sideboarding elements, assuming you draw it, assuming they don't remove it, I felt like those games were a little grindier where we would have, been in the match. So a what might have been type thing, but again, that's part of the nature of a lot of these mythic, whatever you call them, qualifiers, where especially if you're coming from limited, You can do a lot of research and stuff like that going into it, but it's hard to feel like truly prepared. So
Yeah, yeah,
we'll,
and
we'll know better for next time.
and I'll be honest with you, I haven't played Historic. I mean, I've been on Arena over a year. I haven't played Historic at all. No, number one, I didn't have the cards, and I haven't touched it. I'd be scared to death to play it.
Uh, I I feel like we should do like a separate uh episode on it, but I feel like historic is I feel like in a way it's almost like easier on
Really?
on the wild cards. Well, and easier in general. Because it might not be there quite yet, but at some point it'll sort of be like modern, I imagine, where there's just like there's like a pretty clear like pecking order of like what decks will just like have like sticking power. Um, like one example would be like Boros Burn. I can't imagine that deck just like suddenly being like complete garbage.
Right.
So it's like if you get those cards, you would probably be set with a deck for a long time.
Yeah, I didn't think about that. Then when something rotates out, you just slide something new in.
Right.
Mm.
Um,
Yeah, that makes sense actually.
Yeah, it does. I never thought about it like that.
yeah. No, I mean that example might have been a bad one because I can't like Boros Burn in particular. I mean that deck just seemed really uh it just like ran out of gas like so fast. And they were using those what's that creature, the thermo alchemist?
Yes.
Um
Yeah.
I mean that thing is just like it's just not good enough, I feel like. Um
Yeah, yeah. Not to derail that element at all, but yeah, actually, in the next set, Crimson Vow, there's a card. I don't want to say strictly better, but like it kind of is strictly better than that one. It felt very out of place in like a historic, you know, main deck. Because that card, yeah, you every time an instant or sorcery, you play one of those, you can untap it, but it's an 0/3 and it has defender. There's a card in the next set that's a 1/3, no defender, and it just deals 1 damage every time you cast a non-creature spell, and it's the same mana. So it
Really?
just felt like, yeah, it felt really bad. So it was weird, but we'll take the win. So
yeah.
Absolutely.
yeah,
I think that's the thing that's kind of like I feel like Boros Burn would have been good against like it'd probably be good against is it like maybe Jeskai. Um Against Jund, I mean I can't imagine how they would win a game unless I'm missing something.
Yeah.
Like
yeah,
Jun's awful. Yeah.
yeah.
That is just my version of is it dragons or is it turns? It's a nightmare. Once you get in the loop, you're done.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. I mean it seems like there's always some deck out there where it's just there's more uh they give you more problems than you have answers, and it's just sort of like that for too many situations. Like the only card that I feel like the only card that really truly hoses Jund is like Rest in Peace,
Mm.
which it just like permanently exiles anything that goes in the graveyard, but it's like that it's only in white, which we didn't have access to, and then I mean there's it's like there's a lot of decks that just don't have access to it, so it's like any deck that would play Jund that doesn't have that, you're just like, I don't know. I feel like it would just be brutal.
Yeah, it would be. Anything that's not exile.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Yeah, with rogues, you were helping them out, but still, I mean, rogues is once you get it on the if you hit the curve right, you can hammer people. That's the thing about it.
Oh yeah, I mean, there's definitely like a it's like pretty clear when you're in control or not, and if
Hmm.
you're not, it's just like um, it's just rough.
Yeah.
Um, against the Gruul deck, we definitely could have had a better sideboard for it. Um, I don't think we had any board wipes in there. Um, there was probably one we should have had. What's the name of that card? Like crippling something?
Crippling
Yeah.
fear.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean that card easily would have saved us. I know it would have saved us one game. Um and then that
Yeah.
probably would have been because I mean that's the thing with Gruul. It's like if you just like wipe them once, I mean that's just like it pretty much.
Yep.
Um
Yep.
Because like I think the only real like card draw they have is a collected company, which is
Yep.
really good. But
Yep. And Ox, what does it draw? That's not in Gruul, but what's the Ox do? It draws 3 or 2. What is it?
yeah, that's pretty good against rogues. You discard your hand and then you draw 3.
Yes. It's a nasty card too.
Yeah. Yeah, that card was fun back in last
I
standard.
ha- I hated that card. I was always dealing with it. Yeah.
Well, yeah,
It
that's
was
that's when that's when rogues was the boogeyman of standard.
Yep. It was.
So yeah, it was definitely a nice little answer.
I played Rose a little bit, so yeah. I hated that card. You run into the Ox.
Yeah. Yeah, that was actually the last time I played standard when rogues was like the deck. It was like rogues and Gruul. Uh I feel like the problem with rogues and standard was sort of like how Gund was. It's just like it's just so hard to have like a real answer for everything.
Right.
And drowning the lock, I mean, that just like shuts down anything, and it's so easy to leave up 2 mana for it. So, uh, yeah, it was definitely rough.
Yeah, that's one of the best counter spells for rogues. It's just awesome.
Oh yeah, it's ridiculous. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, and speaking of which, it was really hard to figure out like what other counter spells to use. Because like there's mystical dispute, which is it's definitely good, but uh, I feel like against like Is It and Jeskai, I mean they just end up it becomes useless faster than I thought it would.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
And I'll say this, I did watch a few matches and I loved watching you two. I mean, that was enjoyable. Seeing you guys work together. That was nice.
yeah, yeah. I guess that's actually something else I wanted to mention. I feel like we played those matches surprisingly well. Like I feel like we only had one, maybe two like real fuck ups. Um, one was the Gruul game, and then one was a questionable hand. But I don't know. Like I hate mulling a
Yeah.
hand with 3 lands, like 3 or 4, like two. I feel like 3 to 5 lands. I really don't want to mulligan those,
Right.
like regardless of what else it is. But I guess that was probably a mistake because it was like 3 lands, 2 Soul Guide Lanterns, and then like I don't know. Do you remember what it was?
I feel like it was like another like it was like another like dinky card. I don't remember what it was either. I guess we could look at the stream.
Yeah,
Um,
I mean, it was a shit hand. We probably should have mulled it. It was my call to keep it. But I mean, we know how, we all know how annoying mulling is. I mean, I guess in best of one, it's not as bad, because
Oh,
they
no, you win or lose the game by mulligan in best of one. That's it. I mean, you if you do it and you screw up, you're toast. I mean,
yeah,
it's yeah. You don't get the sideboard. It's it.
yeah.
So
Well, I guess the thing about best of one is they do have like that like land smoothing thing in there. Um, so I guess you still can get hands with like 0 or 1 lands, but it's
yes.
like much more rare.
Yeah, it's not it happened to me the other once in the past week, I could imagine, and I had to mulligan because of land. But that's like you. You guys, the one mulligan I did see you take is you had one land. And then you mulled in again and you got one land. It's like, oh
Yeah.
crap.
Yeah,
So that sucked.
I think that was the Jun game, and I didn't really care because I'm sure we would have lost anyway. Uh, like unless we just had some like godlike hand with 7 cards. Uh, it just like it would have been whatever. So, um,
yeah, I feel like our only real chance in against Jund, given like the sideboarding that we had, was I think we had to hope to mill like all like all of their cats
Oh,
and then soul guide lantern before they got an oven out. I feel like that was kind of like the only way we would have had a
yeah,
chance.
I I
Um,
I guess the other thing we did have unmoored egos, which looking back on, I think that card I think that card's too slow
mm,
and uh I mean the real problem is fucking cat is 1 mana, so it's just like
yeah,
it's just ridiculous. Um I'm sure no one needs to hear why cat oven sucks because we've all heard that discussion 800 times.
yeah,
But yeah, I mean, it sucks, and I mean, there's a reason why it's as strong as it is. So, um,
yeah,
um,
and it does.
yeah, but yeah, we had 2 unmoored egos, like hoping we could just like exile either the cat or the oven before it really got going, but uh, yeah, never worked out that way. So,
Yeah, that would have been the perfect card for it. I mean, yeah.
oh,
And you go ahead.
oh, no, I was just gonna say, yeah, I mean, if like if it works the way we wanted it to, it would have been great, but um. I think we only had 2 of them also, so it was, pretty it was gonna be pretty hit or miss to actually get it in time.
Right.
yeah.
Yeah. That
Yeah,
was good. I mean, and like you said, this is the best you guys have done. So, yeah, that's good.
yeah. Yeah, so, I mean, we're telling ourselves that we're gonna take it, more seriously next time around, and, I mean, I mean, I think it's a pretty safe bet almost by default because we only had, like I think we've had, like 20 or 25 games of preparation total.
Oh my gosh,
Yeah,
yeah.
which I mean, that's basically, like, nothing. Um, so, uh, also, I mean, I find historic fun. I mean, I was playing it today, and like, I feel like people are more creative in historic, and and I sort of want to talk about that in more detail later, like in another episode. But yeah, like I played, and these are ranked games. I mean, I played against like a guy who was playing a kicker deck. Uh,
With the Ravens?
uh, it was like um I forget the name of the card. It's like that blue enchantment. Uh, that makes it's like whenever you cast a kick spell, it like makes a 2/2.
Yeah, 2-2 Raven.
Yeah.
Yes. I
Um,
know.
yeah, and
Nice.
I mean, it was just like interesting stuff I've never seen before. As opposed to standard where it's like, I mean that's basically why I stopped playing arena because it was just like you just played fucking rogues or gruel like every fucking game. I just like couldn't take it. So, um, yeah, I don't know. It's just not like I don't mind losing when it's like an interesting game, and I guess as long as there's like some variety, it like it just makes it enjoyable in my
Yeah.
opinion. So, um,
Yeah.
yeah, so I think I'll grind it out and see how far I get. Um,
So that
maybe
was historic.
right,
Yeah.
yeah.
I haven't tried it, and you make me want to play it now almost. I don't know what my cards. I haven't looked because you guys got in it sooner than me, so my historic stock might be horrible. But,
Yeah, I mean, I think everybody's sort of in that boat to a small extent just because uh they they've they've released a couple like historic only sets, but um I don't
yeah,
know. I mean, I would just go on like, MTG decks or whatever and just look at the top historic stuff and, see which one catches your eye. But I mean, it if I remember right, you had a pretty good rogue set.
yeah.
So you could probably just do what we did and just make a rogue deck. I mean, it's definitely good enough to win games. So,
Yeah, yeah. And are you doing best of three?
usually if yeah, I mean that's what the qualifier was. Um,
Yeah,
I feel like my little pea brain only handles best of ones a little better, just because I get like a little impatient.
yeah,
Um, but
yeah,
I also feel rogues is a little better in best of one. Uh, uh, I mean, like drawing the lock, it's just like I feel like it's great against everything, and I feel like it's a little harder to like prepare for that.
Oh
Like
yeah,
that and flash. It's like I feel like you catch a lot of people off guard easier in best of one.
yeah. And what's
Yeah.
the four or what's that 4 mana draw card? What's not? It's a 6 mana, but
Uh,
yeah,
yeah, into the story.
into the story, Croaky, and we all know who that is. He said that was the he said that was the rogue's companion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that card is it's kind of weird because it's like if you get in your starting hand, it feels really bad, but it'll definitely win you games. When you and the other guy are just like hoping you don't draw a land.
Yeah,
Uh,
but Mike and Dave. I mean, you play rogues. You always get that card. You never wonder if you're
Yeah.
going to get it. You always get it.
Yeah, you do for sure. Yeah, I felt like yeah, I think I made the mistake of when I was preparing like the night before. I didn't actually realize that the tournament was that soon. I thought it was the week after. So I wasn't really like preparing at all. But I made the mistake of doing best of one when I was playing matches and I think because it was ranked, I was playing against a lot of like sort of like random decks, like rogue decks, not rogues or rogues, but just like very specific things that probably weren't going to be in the meta of the actual tournament. Um, but yeah, like into the story, like I never really played with that card at all because like as far as like limited went, it wasn't like that great of a card in
Right.
whatever format it was in. So like I never really used it all that much, but obviously drawing 4 cards at instant speed is pretty powerful. Um, but yeah, like I didn't see any Jund or anything, so I wasn't really like prepared as far as that went. But it was great as a best of one deck, um, because I think most of the decks that were creature based, I won almost all those matches. I think the only I definitely I lost to like a shrines deck. Control decks were very hard to beat because they would have multiple board wipes and it was hard to interact with a lot of their pieces if they were like planeswalkers or enchantments.
Right.
But yeah, I can see why the rogue deck kind of got forced out maybe in like top level historic stuff, but I mean it is a very strong deck. The interaction in rogues is very powerful, like Thought Seizes, Inquisition of Kozilek, obviously Drown in the Locks. Like you kind of control the board early game, and then if you mill enough cards, you have the sustainability to stay on top of things with into the story. And then Drown in the Drown in the Lock is like I didn't realize how powerful that card was. Again, in limited, that card wasn't amazing just because it
Right.
was like a 2-color commitment. It was a rare, so like it was one of those cards that like you wouldn't first pick type thing. But if you were in that color pair, and you had some milling, which if I remember that Drown in the Lock is from Throne of Eldraine, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
like if you had Merfolk Secret Keepers, that it made that card extremely powerful in draft. So it was definitely fun. It's a fun deck to play. I enjoyed it. It was
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah. Yeah. That deck is that deck is very fun to play when it's not like the deck floating around, because it's
Yeah.
like I feel like people aren't as like understanding of how annoying it is.
Yeah.
Because it's like at the end of their turn, uh, it's like it's like the end of their turn is basically like the real start of your turn. That's like when you cast everything.
Yeah.
Right.
I feel like people aren't prepared for that. Uh, I mean, I know playing against it is just like it's just so fucking annoying, but
Yeah.
we didn't have that problem, so good
Yeah.
for us.
And Zerath, he hasn't come out to historic yet, has he? Zerath?
He's in it.
Yeah.
The problem is, uh,
He's costly.
yeah, I think, I mean, we use Loris as a companion, so like,
Oh yeah, that's right.
yeah, yes, and Loris is like, it's definitely worth it in that deck. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know how many times we actually used it, but just like the threat of him being there, uh, it was pretty obvious people were like trying to play around that. It's
Yeah.
like they definitely had to take that into account.
Yeah.
Um,
And just having it in your hand and holding up 3 mana, they always either have to hold a counter spell or, a kill spell.
yeah,
Something. Yeah.
yeah. I mean, it's really obvious when you play against like a deck with board wipes in it. Like you can tell. I mean, also because it's like we have thought seizes, so it's like we play thought seize and see they had like a board wipe or something. And it's like they wouldn't use it because we had Luris, So it's like if they would use it, we would just cast Luris and then uh just like get our guys back.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
um yeah, so
That's
yeah, it was a fun little deck. It was definitely enjoyable overall. So yeah, we'll see how next month goes. Mike will
yeah.
just have to get us double mythic
There you
qualifiers,
go.
and
Yeah.
we can have 2 shots at it.
Yeah, that's right. And so and I guess the Crimson Vow, they'll be released out for limited tournaments. Are you looking at it already, Mike?
Yeah, I'm not too familiar with all the cards yet. Like a lot of the Twitch streamers are starting to do their set reviews. So I'm kind of familiar with it, and then kind of like how I was saying before about trusting my own judgment on cards. I feel like this is sort of the first set where like I can look at it and sort of like I don't know, gauge like how good a card is relative to how the set feels overall. Now,
Right.
again, I didn't really go too deep in it yet. This set definitely feels slower than the previous set does, and a lot of there's a lot of disturbed cards that are just like natural card advantage, but it seems like most of them in this set are actually enchantment based. The flipped side, so it's actually I feel like this set will be. I feel like the set is going to be fun. Honestly, there's a lot of really powerful like rares and mythics and stuff like that in this one. Um, but yeah, it'll be different. But yes, I don't know too much about like which colors are the best so far and like what each color pair's like mission is and how strong they're supported. So maybe by the next podcast I'll have a better sense of all that stuff. But yeah, all that stuff's kind of coming out now because the set got fully spoiled. I think it was only like 2 days ago.
Right.
So a lot of people are just trying to get out ahead of it now. So
Yeah, and I know the werewolves are getting um, some goods, and the humans are coming out as well, pretty strong too. It looks like. I don't know how
yeah,
good they'll be, but they're getting supported. It looks like.
yeah, for sure. Yeah, I know a lot of people talk about how like werewolves in the werewolf set were like weak. And then yeah, in this set like werewolves are much stronger. I don't know how good or bad the vampires are supported in this quite yet. This actually looks like it might be like a more balanced set than even the last one was. I do think as time went on, Innistrad actually did become more balanced because once the good colors got figured out that they were good, the worst colors actually became more open. So like actually in the games, like you would see like kind of all the color pairs. Um, so we'll see. And then as far as like constructed goes, I actually don't know too much about any of the cards yet. Um, so again, that's all stuff that we'll figure out sooner than later, I suppose, and
Yeah.
maybe we can discuss that at some point as well.
Well,
So
I'm a little upset. I just saw this card. I was kind of scrolling through them as you were talking, and is it looks like is it got Eruth, the Tormented Prophet. Uh, says if you would draw a card, exile the top two cards of your library instead, and you may play those cards this turn. Yeah, I'm not happy about that. It's like, is it, man? It's a red blue, one
Hmm.
colorless, one blue, one red. Yeah.
Yeah, that
yeah.
oh, go ahead.
Oh no, I was just gonna say, yeah, I definitely noticed that card because it feels like in limited that card might not be that amazing, only because you kind of have to play certain cards, at a certain, that turn. But it seems like it constructed. That seems like the type of card that you can break pretty easily.
Yeah.
And obviously, is it right now is top of the line. So I'm sure you'll be seeing that a lot.
Yeah, thanks, Mike. It makes me feel so much better.
Yep, I guess that's how it goes. That's what Wizards of the Coast gave us.
Yeah, that's right. I'm gonna be going to best of three, it looks like, so I can sideboard for this stuff. It's awful.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. I mean that card though, it's like what would you even do against it? I mean, it's like uh,
I'll kill it. That's all you can do. I mean,
of course it has
exile it.
yeah, it has 4 toughness too, of course, so it's like
Yep.
Yeah,
very sturdy.
yeah. A 3 mana 2/4 with an awesome ability. Yeah.
Yet it
Uh,
seems like it fits their. I don't know how many creatures is it really wants to be playing, but it seems like it fits their curve nicely also because if they still have dragon eggs, then you can go into that right after, and then you
Yep.
just have like all sorts of fuel to activate the dragon egg, and then by turn 4 or 5, you'll be playing your gold span dragon anyway. So yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
we'll see.
or you'll be playing your turns. You'll be taking your turns and yeah. But I mean, imagine that. You play this, right? So next turn you draw, lay your fourth land. You draw 2 cards, you lay your 4th land, and you've got who knows, iteration, whatever you want. I mean, it sucks.
Right.
But I'm gonna
Hmm.
build a Izzet deck because of all this. You watch.
Yeah, if you can't beat them, you got to join them, I guess.
Right. Absolutely.
Yeah, I think doing a quick glance, a lot of the multicolored cards in the next set, like they seem pretty strong. I don't really know, like I was saying before, I don't really know what cards are like constructed worthy. I'm actually not really good at gauging that type of stuff. Because I don't really know like sort of, I don't really know like the decks like in and out to begin with. Um, but some of the cards look pretty efficiently costed.
Yeah. A
Um,
braid is awesome. That one will
right.
be.
Yeah, that card we saw a few times in that Mythic Qualifier. So
Yeah.
yeah, I'm sure we'll be seeing more of it now.
Yeah,
Because if
and of
it's
course it takes out the chariot too. So you'll see plenty of
Mm.
that.
oh yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, that seems
Yeah.
really strong. I like the art that they have on that one.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that
Pretty
is
cool.
nice.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
that is.
actually, yeah, I know I'm going on a random tangent here, but I actually like the artwork of the next set. Um, in Innistrad actually, and if you look at it, it kind of looks like it. Um, it was almost like all the art, like whatever color the card was, it was like overly, like that was like the color palette of the art.
I
And this
didn't.
one seems, yeah,
No.
I didn't notice it until I think it was day 9. I was watching day 9 like do like drafting or something, and then like I saw it and I realized, oh wow, he's like exactly right. So this one looks a little more varied. Not that it matters, but
Yeah.
thought it was,
No. I agree. But yeah, I never thought of that though.
yeah.
Yeah.
There's this. Sorry, I'm going on one more tangent. There's one card in blue that I don't know. I don't really know if like blue cards even want this type of card, but there's a 1 mana 3/3. Um, and the additional cost is exile a creature card from your graveyard. And then for 3 and a blue, you exile Cobbled Lancer from your graveyard. You draw a card. Obviously that card seems aggressively costed. I don't know if that's the type of card that will make a
Hmm.
cut. This is where me not really knowing uh a format, it makes me incapable of really assessing a card. So
Right.
I'm trying my best here, and
That's
all I'm saying is it's worth bringing up, but I actually don't know if it's good or not.
yeah. I don't know. What's the name of the card?
Uh,
It's a
Cobbled
Cobbled
Lance.
Lancer.
Oh, okay.
It's an uncommon. Um,
Mm.
I guess in standard, it's like how uh it's like
Well,
how would you get a creature card in your graveyard that quickly?
unless you're milling, yeah,
yeah, that's true.
yeah.
I'm not trying to say that as if it's bad necessarily. Um like if you're playing um I don't even know if it's like a real deck anymore, but like that Stitcher supplier or like, some other self mill
Right.
type creature. I'm not sure if there's anything like that in standard though.
Yeah, there is one where you mill the top card of your library every turn. I can't think of the name of it in standard. I think it is blue.
Yeah.
Or-
Even then though, it's like you sort of have to like it seems like there's a little bit of like chance involved.
Mhm. There is.
Yeah.
So uh but that added perk is really nice. Cuz it's basically just like draw a free card anyway. So
Right.
if you're ever like stuck with nothing to do. It's like an easy mana sink.
Right.
Yeah. I feel like some of these green mythic rares, because I mean, we know mono green is probably here to stay for as long
Yeah.
as Chariot and Red and 7 are a thing. So
Yes.
like that, I know that one card's 6 mana, that Ava Bruck Caretaker, but it's hexproof, so obviously that's powerful. And then you put 2+1/+1 counters on another creature you control,
Yes.
and then the other side of it, other permanents you control have hexproof, but the actual Caretaker still has hexproof. So like everybody has hexproof, and you keep pumping everything with 2+1/+1 counters every turn. It is 6 mana, but it feels like if green can get to 6 mana, which we all know it can,
Yeah.
I mean that seems pretty strong. And then the one right below it, the Cemetery Prowler, 1 and then 2 forests, has vigilance. Every time it enters the battlefield or attacks, you exile a card from your graveyard, and then for every card type that they share with the cards exiled from that, it makes your spells cost 1 less. I don't know. That seems like it might be powerful just because it's aggressively costed again. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's my
Well,
guess.
yeah. And did you see mulch?
Yes.
Yes. Yeah. So Ren and 7 would love that card.
Sure.
So you could play mulch, put the lands in your card, and go 0 on Ren and 7. It's just
Yeah. 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 There's yeah. Yeah. This set looks fun, but I guess to really dive in, we'll have to do a little more research.
Oh yeah. Well, that's the one thing now, and I have found myself longing for is hexproof. I've, outside of snakeskin veil, I don't think we have anything in the format right now that we have a few things that are hexproof, but it's rare. I think there's that blue in there. One, I don't know, maybe not. And I know there's the things that you have the tax where you pay 3 life or whatever, but we don't. I don't think we have much that's hexproof, and that's something I've wanted so bad. Especially in the white. I can't believe they don't have a very good hexproof.
Yeah, I feel like white is the. It's funny because like white weenie decks, whenever they're good, that's when I actually play standard a decent amount.
Yeah.
Because I've just always I've always enjoyed aggro decks, but I've always sort of preferred like the white weenie style to like a red deck wins type style. And yeah, I don't know. I don't know when. I mean, obviously, white's like a tier 1 standard deck right this second. So I mean, it's pretty strong. But I feel like there's no like card in this next set where I'm like, oh wow, like this card's busted in white. So
Yeah,
we'll
there
see.
was there was one that I can't think of what it was. Well, they got
Oh,
1 mana, 2 damage, uh, which they basically got a shock, piercing light, which that's good. Um,
you
but they
see,
got
Oh
hit.
yeah, I didn't even see that card. Yeah, that's
Um,
pretty good.
yeah, it's attacking or blocking, but still, I mean, it's a shock. Um,
Yeah.
I d There was something else though that I saw that was really made me say yes, but I can't think of it. I'll have to look through it and let you know.
Yeah.
I do see Thalia in here, and
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
that'll be really nice against Izzet, I'm sure.
Yep.
Not so much mono green, so
Yeah. It'll make the Blizzard Brawls just 1 turn later.
Yeah.
There's nothing more. I there's nothing more annoying than when you see like their creature get highlighted and then your creature get highlighted.
Yeah.
It's so annoying. I hate that card.
Yeah.
I hate
Well,
that card.
I don't know if I put it up, if I recorded it, because I may have scrapped that because I did so horrible with it. But there was one game, and I'm not kidding you. In the first 5 turns, every time I laid a creature,
Yeah.
It was 3 Blizzard Brawls, and what's that 2 cost enchantment? Oh, not enchantment, but it gives you the 3 options. 1 and
Oh, inscription of abundance or something.
yeah, and 2 of those. I'm like, "Are you kidding me?" You know,
Yeah.
it's like, how in the world? I don't get dealt like that. It's like I
Yeah.
was blown away.
Yeah.
Yeah. The thing that annoys me about stuff like that is like it's like that was in best of one, I imagine, right?
Yes,
Yeah, so
best
it's
of
Yeah.
like
1.
so like if you were playing a control deck, those cards would have just been like fucking useless, you know?
Right.
But
Yep,
it's like he lucked out and I mean it's not luck, it's just sort of testing the meta or whatever, but
Yeah.
it just like yeah, it's just annoying because it's like if you were just playing a different deck, those cards would have been like useless for him, but they weren't, so you just have to like sit there and take it.
Yep.
yep, and like Mike said, it's like you just watch it, you know what's happening, you're like, "Oh my gosh, another one." It's like and when you hit the second one, I was like, "Oh, okay," that's I said, "I won't see any more of those," and I was like, "No."
Right.
He pulls out the 3rd one, I was like, "Gosh." I was like, "I didn't stand a chance." He literally killed me with 1 creature is what it boiled down to. He just
Right.
kept it's like, I just got mad on that one.
Yeah. Yeah. I think. No, I know. Obviously, white in standard has like a decent matchup against mono green. Like I feel like they're probably like a 60-40 dog or maybe like 55-45 dog. So it's not too bad. You can beat mono green with white weenie if if you get one of your, generally it's Luminarch Aspirant,
Right,
but it can be another creature. But all I do when I go against mono green, and it works, is you just pump one creature to be so freaking big that no interaction that they have can actually kill it,
right.
and then that's when they scoop, because they can't beat mono white if there's a bigger creature on the board. So
That's right.
um,
Yeah.
it is kind of fun playing it because it's like exactly what you have to do. So um,
Yeah, the
you know,
aspirants are huge, and
I freaking
the
love
3
that card.
yeah, the 3/1 flyer. Oh, what's his name? He's a backbreaker. He's
Oh
coming
yeah,
especially if you're on the play and he comes in on, your 3, your turn 3 drop. Oh my gosh. He's picking
Yeah.
out, he's get the chariot, he gets Ren and 7, he's getting all that
Mm.
stuff before it hits, he's
yeah,
awesome.
elite spellbinder. Yeah,
Yeah.
that card is really strong. Yeah, it's funny. I know we're kind of going on tangent right now. Sorry, Dave.
No, that's fine.
Yeah, but
That's why we're here.
Yeah.
yeah, but yeah, like white weenie. It's funny because I actually still kind of like the like double spelling creatures. Like I haven't really switched my white weenie deck to just like the good white creatures, which actually a lot of them are from this last set. So like I think like Adeline is like a main card in it now.
Yes.
Um, Ambitious Farmhand seems to be in some of these decks.
Yep.
Intrepid Adversaries in a bunch of these decks. Um, and then of course all the like exile cards are still in it. Brutal Cathars in a lot of these. So it
Yeah.
does seem like there's a lot of good cards, and it feels like it'll be a factor going forward. But I guess we'll really see once this next set comes out, because it seems like generally, if there's like one best aggro deck, unless there's like a meta reason why there's two that can sustain, usually it'll force one of them out a little bit.
Yeah.
So hopefully white stays strong here. Because yeah, like as far as aggro decks go, I've always been I've always liked white weenie the most, but I do like red based aggro decks too. I'm not
Yeah.
I don't really like playing mono green. I just find it like kind of not boring per se. It's just like I don't know. I guess it's just like a taste thing.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
the like I don't really find like the cards like all that fun, and I think because mono green has like the like stupid combo of chariot into Ren. I
Yep.
find it like less interesting, I guess, because it's like
Yep.
you know that like the only reason why you're playing that color is because of like 2 cards.
Yep.
So like with white weenie, I feel like there's a lot of tinkering you can do, whereas with the mono green, it actually kind of seems like the decks are kind of all the same,
Yep. They are.
and I think that actually hurts a little bit because when you're honestly, when I'm looking at a lot of these top eights, um, seems like white weenie seems to get further. And that might be because there's more like meta call choices you can make. I mean, mono green's coming up in a lot of these too, but they seem to be almost all exactly the same. So,
Oh yeah.
uh, and then a lot of is it epiphanies as well.
Yeah. Oh yeah. The epiphanies are something. I'm telling you.
Yeah, I don't dislike that card as much as Nexus of Fate. I'll be honest with that. I feel like Nexus of Fate was much. I don't know. I don't know if it was because was Nexus of Fate cheaper by 1 mana?
Well, I think the real problem with that one was it was in Teamer, so you had all the green ramp.
Oh, yeah. Oh, right,
So
right.
like they would cast on like turn like fucking 4. Not turn 4, but you know, I mean it was just like, oh, I do see there is a Teamer Epiphany, but I think the ramp cards aren't as good.
Yeah. And mono black. I mean, we can say what we want, but mono black is in the top three. I mean, and then the Radkos can control after that. And then believe it or not, party is top five, which surprises me. So
Yeah, that's interesting.
yeah. Well, wait a minute. I take that back. That's number one in tier two in Radkos control. So
Yeah, I don't think I've ever actually gone against a party deck yet. Again, I haven't played all that much, but um,
they're hit or miss. I mean, you use shapeshifters, and then what's that? The bear,
Mm,
that enchantment. Can't think of what it is. Yeah, that kind of helps it. That fuels it, and it powers up a 4/4 shapeshifter, and it makes a shapeshifter. Next turn makes it 4/4, and then it fights whatever it wants on the board.
yeah, I'm
That,
looking it up now.
yeah,
Okay, so it's one of those sagas. Yeah,
yeah. It's a good enchantment. 3 cost, isn't it?
yeah, it's
Yeah,
one green and blue.
yeah. I mean, freaking nice.
Yeah, yeah, it's sweet.
Yeah, the last time I played Party, he dropped one on me, and I killed his creature, and then and I'll be daggone if he didn't drop another one right after that. I was like, oh my god,
Well,
I get doubled and tripled on stuff, man. It's like, are you kidding me?
yeah, I'm looking at Croaky's recent party list.
Mm.
Interesting. Yeah,
yeah.
it's funny because a lot of these cards I'm like not familiar with at all. Like Tajaru Paragon, I don't think I've ever seen that card. So that's cool.
That's a shapeshifter.
It looks like it's an elf,
Oh, an
but it
elf.
is all 4 party members.
Mm.
That's
Oh,
cool.
really? Yeah, that
Yeah,
is cool. So he fills the slot, whatever it is. Yeah.
yeah. No, that's interesting.
Yeah,
Hmm.
the party, I made a party deck, and I didn't. I mean, it's fun to play. I'll just say that, because you have so many options. I mean, it's like the sky's the limit. You know.
Hmm.
Yeah, I feel like yeah, they're the one white card, the Archpriest of Iona, like a 1 mana
Mhm.
creature. I know it was in some of like the white weenie deck lists when I first started. And I mean, it definitely wasn't very powerful there, but it seems like if you go that card into the Paragon turn 2, I mean, it's a 4/2 for 1 mana. I mean, that's pretty strong.
Yeah, it's very
And if you
strong.
have a full party, it gets +1/+1 and has flying until end of turn, so it's actually a 5/3.
Yeah,
It's pretty good. Nice.
Wait,
yeah.
does Paragon count as all 4 at the same time, or does it just count as like any one you don't have?
It says it's also a cleric, rogue, warrior, and wizard. So I'm guessing it's all 4.
I would say it counts as all.
Right. So like if you play Archpriest and then Paragon, it triggers you having a full party, even though it's just one card.
It kind of looks like it. I mean, I could be wrong.
Yeah, it's what it sounds like.
I guess I'll have to build it and try it out.
Let's see. I'm reading. Let me see. I'm bringing it up.
Yeah, there's that. What's that site that like gives you all like the rulings and shit?
Yeah, that's not the one I went to. It took forever.
I feel like it's like the official WotC site.
Oh, the Gatherer.
Yeah.
Here's tapped out. Yeah. So it can be kicked too.
It actually doesn't say.
Discussion.
Someone's probably gonna listen to this and be like, "Wow, you guys are like fucking stupid. How do you not know this?"
Yeah,
Right.
well, that's all right. I've never played with it, so I don't know.
Yeah. Oh yeah, me neither.
Oh, this guy's saying Yarshan, Hallowed Priest, Moon Dancer, Cleric class. I don't know. They're talking about decks. Yeah, it's kind of like enter the battlefield stuff. I don't know.
Well, either way, I mean, it's pretty cool to see a deck like that. I mean, I know when Zendikar Rising first came out, I don't think this was really a thing, but I think that was just more of a symptom of Eldraine also being available and those cards just being so ridiculous.
That's a powerful set.
Yeah, there's so many busted cards from
Yeah.
that set.
Was Winota banned in Historic?
I think so.
Yeah,
I know it was.
Yeah. That card is just that card is just stupid.
Yeah. Fantastic.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, you'd get like 2 additional like 7 mana creatures on turn 4.
Yeah. And then you put that double strike human in there. Oh my gosh.
Yep.
Yeah. I love
Yeah, it's like you get one of those blade historians, and then you get whatever that king guy, Kenrith the Returned King.
Yes,
like a 5/5, and then you just start pumping random crap with that too.
And you can pull stuff out of graveyard with them, can't you? Yeah, on Kenrith.
Yeah, I feel like you can do pretty much whatever you want with that card.
He's the king. It's good to be the king.
It is. Yeah. Let's see that card.
Yeah. Yeah. Target creature card from graveyard onto the battlefield. Yep. That's it. He has the the 1, the 2, the 3, 4, 5 cost abilities. Yeah.
Yep.
He was nasty. And he looks like a stud too. So
He does. Yeah, that card. That's good stuff.
yeah.
Yeah.
That set was busted.
Yeah, I really like that set because I guess in a like an overall like fluff sense, like I liked that set was like super powerful, but it wasn't like a pre-existing plane.
Right.
So I kind of thought it was cool that of a overpowered set, it was like a random one. So actually, I kind of like that. So I always kind of have respect for Throne of Eldraine, even though like I kind of know it was like, a set full of degenerative cards. Like I think Adventures just in general was too powerful, but I kind of liked the theme of the cards. And I think it was honestly fun. I mean, I know as far as limited went, it was an awesome set.
Right.
I think a lot of people hated it in the beginning because of the Merfolk Secret Keeper being. I think that was before Premier drafts, like human drafts were a thing. I think so. Like people would just get these like busted blue-based mill decks. So it was kind of like terrible in the beginning, but eventually they sort of fixed it. Um, but yeah, so I appreciate that. Yeah, and
Yeah,
then I guess because Dave and I we started playing like with like physical cards, um, around when like shards of the Alara block was happening.
right.
So that was like 10 years ago, I think, and I always kind of liked like the I don't know, I kind of like the feel of those cards. So I don't know if they're ever going to go back to Alara, um, but I would kind of enjoy that.
Yeah,
Um,
that they put out some good sets. I mean, and by then I think when Shards of Alara came out, I was just buying packs here and there. I mean,
right.
it's just I don't know, I get a whim and I just go pick up a few packs. But yeah, it's heavily played. Invasion Block was the last one I heavily played, and then of course I bought some stuff Dave and I have played. But other than that, but yeah, the my wife keeps threatening to sell my Magic cards, but
No, you can't do that.
no, no. Yeah, I actually I want to catalog what I have, but I'm afraid to
Right.
because then it'll have a value. Right now, it's just in a box, So, but yeah, uh,
Yeah.
but it's funny though. But yeah, I mean, I've bought so many, and every now and then I'll buy somebody's set who's getting out of it, doesn't want the cards anymore. So yeah, it's yeah. I think the like I played physical. Did you guys ever play physical tournaments?
I think we did. I know we did the one. I don't know if you did any other ones.
I think that was the only one we did. Yeah, we did a Friday night Magic draft, and it
Oh,
was of M10, and again, I mean, this was when we were like clueless kind of. I actually, sorry, I actually got two planeswalkers in my draft, but
really?
I didn't know what the heck I was doing, so I still like went 0-2. Um, I pulled a Jace Bellerin, and I had a Liliana Vess, so like the
Wow.
5 mana Liliana.
Yeah.
But
Wow.
I didn't know what the heck I was doing, so I feel like I still went 0-2. I might have won one match. I
I
remember I lost to a guy that had a blue white Flyers deck because he was just like, oh yeah, I just drafted blue white Flyers, so he obviously knew how to like construct a deck, and he like destroyed me.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. I had played several, and I played an invasion block constructed, and it was
yeah,
limited, and it is the best I ever did, and I was up. What was I? I had one loss, one tie, and like three wins. And my friends were all like, they crapped out, and they were like, "Let's go home." We're like an hour and change away from home. And I talked to the judge. I'm like, "Look, how do you think? I mean, do I stand a chance, or because of the one loss and everything? And you look, am I not gonna make the top eight?" And he wouldn't say anything, which I understand. And I
right,
was like, and so I left, and I always it's like unresolved. I was like, and going back now and thinking about it, I'm like, dude, I was doing well, and I probably would have made top eight. Whether or not I had done anything, it was another story. But yeah, I feel like I would have made it. Would have I mean, then they would qualify you for the tour. All the top eights got the tour, or was it top three? I can't remember. But yeah, and that was for, I don't even know what the tour was, but that's what it was. It was a PTQ. So yeah, my friends. But sadly, Charlie, I told Dave, I don't know if you heard that, but he passed away. The other guy, he quit playing. I bought all his cards. So, but yeah,
yeah,
so it's amazing.
um,
But other than that, I'd go and be 0-2. So,
yeah.
that was, I think that was the third one I had played. And yeah, I did the best then. And I never went back, never tried another one. So,
yeah. Well, we might have to change that. And
yeah.
I know we've sort of been like fiddling around with the idea of uh, but do they even like do those anymore, or is it just like all arena?
No, I think, are they doing the, what are the big events where they do the team? what are those called? The
I'm not
Grand
sure.
Prix. It's the Grand
Oh,
Prix.
yeah.
Hmm.
I feel like they kind of changed the like structure of their tournament system recently, and I feel like what I've heard is that they kind of made it like harder, like to actually like get deep into anything. Um, Again, I don't know like the ins and outs of like how it really works. But I feel like there's a lot of like streamers that are like obviously like professional level players, or they are professional, and they've said like they don't really bother with the tournament system anymore because it's like they kind of just like pick and choose what people they want to have in them. Now again, I don't know like how much truth there is to that, but yeah, so I'm not actually sure like how it really works now.
Yeah, I don't either. It's I'm kind of looking. It's like,
Yeah.
yeah, they have buys. And I guess if you have enough pro points, you can get buys. First, third round, second, and third round buys. There's not one past the third round. But
Yeah.
that's huge though. If you're doing 8 rounds and you get three buys, that's huge.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I wonder if their deck probably has to be submitted before the tournament though. I would hope.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, who knows? It never hurts to. So they do 50 of them.
Yeah.
Oh, so teams do not get buys in team format. They don't give teams buys.
Hmm.
That's that's interesting. Yeah, so they're actually doing them in December. They got
Nice.
December and January. So, yeah.
Well, yeah, we'll have to poke around and see what the deal is. See if we can
Yeah.
weasel our way into it.
Yeah,
Although,
Team MV, we're gonna take the world over by storm.
Go. Uh, yeah, tonight we take over the world.
yeah,
That's right.
yeah, it begins here and now.
Yeah, that's
Yep.
right.
Um,
Yep.
all right, well, um, unless anyone has any final words, I think that might wrap it up for today.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, all right, so yeah, I guess we'll be doing another one in the somewhat near future, just for the new set. We sort of touched on it, but we'll give it like a real go. Uh, as far as like the format of how we do that, I think it's still sort of up in the air, but we'll figure something out,
Yeah.
and it'll be soon. So, yeah, I guess that's it for today. So, until next time, we'll see you later.
All right. See you guys.
All right. Yeah. See ya.